Hello, everyone. Can everyone hear me? Just put a one in the chat, please. Hello, hello, hello. If you can hear me, one in the chat, please. How's everyone doing? Fabulous. You can hear me. I am so sorry. I'm so disorganized today, guys. Shameful, 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 shameful. How's everybody doing? Let's just let everybody stream in. Thank you for joining me this Friday evening, afternoon, wherever you are. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you decided to be with me. So I am so grateful. So yeah, I wanted to go through a couple of things today. I think there's been a lot of misunderstandings. I was actually going to do like a whole separate video on this, and I might still do, but seeing as we're here, there's been a lot of I think misunderstandings and wool being pulled over the public's eyes in terms of what's going on with Andrew and his titles, that they're actually being very sneaky, and what's actually going on in terms of will he or won't he go to trial in the in the US, because it's actually very unlikely that he will get on that plane and go. And also, if you read that statement that they put out, that the palace put out, it was actually very vague in terms of the military titles that are going to be taken away from him. So they specifically use the term military affiliations, but a couple of people have come out and said that actually there are certain titles that he will actually retain. Hence, they were actually very vague. I think I can put it up. Yeah, here it is. So they said military affiliations, but you see, there were military affiliations really could mean a number of things, and they were actually very vague. And then there's also the matter of him defending his case as a private citizen. And from what I understand, there was I'm not going to play the clip because it has music in the background, but there was a lawyer on TikTok who explained that because he's if he goes or if this case goes through as him as a private citizen, it can basically protect any assets that the crown has in the US, and the royal family does actually have hundreds upon thousands of acres of land and real estate in the US. So that whole this whole thing about him defending his case as a private citizen, it could just be for them to basically protect themselves. And once again, they're still very much hello, hello, hello. If you've just joined us, welcome. Oh, hello, Elza St. Louis. Your first time listening in live from Pennsylvania. Hello, welcome, sis. So as you can see, like very, very, very sneaky, very sly. And to be honest, everyone, these titles themselves, I feel anyway, are first and foremost like meaningless, because a soldier is a soldier in the heart, not because he has a medal. So in the first place, they give them to each other to give each other a sense of status. They don't actually mean anything, in my opinion. And it's all about kind of creating this class system. And then I feel that even sorry, I'm struggling to get my words, but I just think that even the okay, so first and foremost, the titles themselves are just kind of trinkets, and then even this whole thing about Andrew having his titles taken away, it's all just very much to appease the public. So like I said in my live yesterday, like just take this as a small win. They took Harry's titles away as an attempt to humiliate him, but at the end of the day, Harry is the only member of the royal family that has served on the front line. And it is why his military men and women have not turned they're back on him. And let's see some of your comments. Only Parliament can officially remove titles. Exactly. So it doesn't mean anything. And also, I mean, supposedly he's not going to be using his HRH styling, but he is still a blood prince. And I find it interesting that when Harry and Meghan had their HRHs removed from them after the Sarandon summit, it was like this huge thing, and oh, the humiliation of, they're not going to be using their HRH titles. But now that Andrew has had his HRH titles removed, it's just like, oh well, it's just a title, it's just a style. So now they're downplaying it, just because it's Andrew. I'm going to go through some of you. Oh gosh, you lot are commenting hard and fast. So I'm going to go through some of your comments. The devil's advocate. Britain has had enough of these leeches, aka royals, exactly. Diane, it's all window dressing for slick gangster Gran when dealing with Andy. He's doing as little as possible and as late as possible. Exactly. It's all one big show, ladies and gentlemen. Like, we know that they're pulling all the strings in the background, and we know that there's so many people who are involved with Epstein that needs to be brought to justice. Oh, I found your comment, Eliza Saint. Welcome. Thank you so much for listening. Yes, please do hit the thumbs up button. And make sure you subscribe as well. Let's try and get to 7,000 before the end of the month. Lynn, the weather is doing a number. I'm heading back to the Caribbean. We'll return when it warms up. Well, where are you now, darling? Queen bending over backwards to protect Andrew, or he did nothing to protect Harry and Meghan and child. Exactly. But I never want to hear again that the Queen doesn't have a choice with these things. And Terry, yes, it doesn't matter if he's a private citizen, he will be funded by the Queen because they have their own private wealth. Bunch of clowns, they are a circus, yes. And Britain needs to snap out of this cult spell it's under. And I tweeted something the other day, and it was kind of along the lines of, Britain is 65 million people strong, and we don't need to be represented by an institution that is abusive and affiliates with pedos. We have so much to be proud of as a nation. So I'm tired of this idea that just because you are not pro-royal, you are somehow not patriotic. Like, I know my country is great. I know the 65 million people in this country are great, and we have a lot to be proud of. We don't need a bunch of liars, abusers to represent us. So there was just a few things I I screenshotted from Twitter that I thought were quite funny, but I wanted us to have a bit of a laugh at because it is, at the end of the day, like, this is a very dark and it's a very dark thing, especially for the victims involved in this. But I think the light at the end of the tunnel is that people are talking about it. But I did want to try and be at least a little bit lighthearted today. And this was me yesterday, guys. This was me trying to keep up with all the news that was happening yesterday. And thank you so much for your words of support. And yeah, we managed to do 3 videos yesterday, and it was a lot of work. But you guys keep me motivated. And this are all of the headlines this morning. So finally, after a whole decade, it's front page news. But the bit that irks me is that it's front page news while they are absolutely still doing the most in the background to protect this guy. So yeah. But yeah, this was the front pages in Britain today. And Let's go to my Twitter. People were having fun with the memes. So this one, the Queen visiting Randy Andy in the USA in jail, and somebody did some masterful artwork with the Drake meme because we don't like brown babies, but we're okay with pedos. I mean, that pretty much sums it up, right? So yeah, people were having fun with the memes yesterday. And this one, a newly minted coin for Prince Andrew, with the Queen with her face in palm, having her what did she call it when Diana passed away? An annus horribilis, whatever that Latin term. Not we've had a member of our family passed away, or annus horribilis, whatever. And of course Epstein and Andrew on some commemorative mugs. And then we had, so this over here, so we've got a picture of a poster for a show, which I'm assuming, I guess, is going to be on CNN. And you can see Harry and Meghan in the front, then Kate and William, and then Diana, and then I think Charles at the back. So, I mean, obviously this is going to be for an American show, and they're going to put who people recognize, and I think people recognize Diana and Harry and Meghan and William and Kate more than, you know, all the others. But it just like it shows, right, who the actual royals who people know are. Let me just go to your comments. Dan Hawkins, I agree. The title pretend title stripping is a big deflection and essentially meaningless. They're trying to protect Andy, and at the same time, Liz, who has shown she can move fast when she wants to. Exactly. Exactly. But you know what I do love about them, this whole like shipping of the titles thing, is that I think it's meaningful for people who don't live in the Sussex Squad bubble that we live in, because I think they will slowly start to wake up. I think we forget sometimes that we live in a bubble and that we can see it for what it is, but they can't. So for those who can't see what it is, I think that this is a good thing, because I think even they will start asking questions, if that makes sense. Dawn, I believe the Jubilee will be a telltale sign of how the public feels about the Queen and the royal family. If Sussexes show up, we might see a lot more people show up. Yeah, that's a very interesting point. I mean, I've said for the longest time that I believe we'll see protests next year at the Jubilee, because if you think about it, you know, the UK, what we've been through the last 2 years of lockdowns, of mandates, you know, public opinion has been very split about the lockdowns. A lot of people not agreeing with them, and so to now have this huge parade after all of that for someone who is so privileged, I think a lot of people are going to be very, very mad. And I mean, at the end of the day, we don't really know exactly how Harry and Meghan feel about the Queen. So for knowing that, you know, Harry, or at least he says publicly that he respects his grandmother, he may still show up. In fact, Meghan may even come with him. So we just don't know, and I think the squad need to be prepared for that to happen. Only time will tell. Yes, Anna. I specifically picked that meme for you. I was thinking of you, Anna, when I picked that meme. I was thinking of you, babes. Zima Vo. I think it's mostly Charlie and Willy Wonka running the show. Betty doesn't have Who hates anymore, just like Eleanor Roosevelt ran the country while her husband was sick. Yeah, exactly. Mm. I find it funny when people say that Britain needs royals because they bring tourists. No, they didn't think when we think of England, things that come to mind are Sherlock Holmes, Big Ben, Stonehenge, not royals. Exactly. And I've said this before in another podcast. Britain as a country has so much to offer. Like we have some of the most incredible nature you've ever seen. Um, Beautiful little towns, hiking. I mean, there's so much in this country. Like the fact, or this whole idea that is people just come for the royals. That's ridiculous. And if the tourist board did a better job, more people would know about what else this country has to offer. Mm, Sorry, I'm just trying to go through your comments before we go into the next thing. Annie, when it comes to Meghan's safety, there's no way Harry will risk that. Well, I mean, to be honest, only they know what the risk factor is. I always keep in mind that we are only looking from the outside. Um, so hi, Mrs. VSN, how are you? I was actually watching your replay earlier on. Go subscribe to her, everyone. She's amazing. Okay, I think I've kind of caught up with your comments, so we can move on to the next slide. So I mean, there were quite a few funny things that I picked up on Twitter that I just thought we'd have a laugh about. So, right, so yesterday in my live, I mentioned the thing about Prince William now trying to insert himself, that he was locked in talks with the Queen for over an hour, where they came to a decision. I mean, this is clearly Kensington Palace PR, right? And you can even see this whole idea of them trying to paint Prince William as having a position in the royal family, and it's strengthened. And I mean, he had 10 years to have this talk with the Queen, so this is clearly PR. And then I also really liked this tweet from Kristen Mainzer. She said, "I can't help but wonder, do the tabloids fear that no one will read their stories unless their stories sully Meghan's name? If so, they're showing a very sad lack of confidence in the Duchess of Cambridge." And this is something that we have been saying for a long time, and I haven't actually heard anyone of like prominence say it themselves, aside from Omid, but like Omid's within the whole Sussex squad circle thing. So I'm glad people are finally saying, who aren't necessarily in the squad, are finally saying it and people are noticing it, because it's so true. Like you cannot see an article about Kate or the others without using Meghan's name or throwing Meghan's name in the mud. So I'm so glad that like more people are picking up on that. These were another couple of tweets that I picked up. This one by Chris Sussex Ninja. Virginia is not suing a private citizen. She was allegedly by a public figure who is a member of the royal family. Exactly. She is suing that public figure who's still a member of the royal family. If the lawsuit is privately financed, it does not make him a private citizen. Exactly. And I'm so glad that so many people are pointing that out. Gary Lineker jumped in and said, "This court decision will test Prince Andrew's inability to sweat." I cannot even believe that his lawyers tried to put that whole thing about him sweating as a defense. Like, it's just so ridiculous. Worst lawyer ever. And Duchy of Sussex said, "As Andrew goes down deeper and deeper, get ready for more olive branch stories. I'm starting to see them already." Yeah, they keep rehashing this whole idea of the olive branch and sending out olive branches, but never actually coming out and publicly saying anything about what it is that Harry and Meghan went through at the hands of the firm. Diane, amazing how publishing Clarence House got into a competition with KP over who pushed Andy first. Exactly. They've had 10 years. 10 years to do this. Hello, hello, hello. If you're just joining us. Oh, Monroe, you went to England in 2019 to see Family with Megan. Oh, you saw her coming out the venue. That's so cool. um, why is Baldy smirking? He's always smirking. Smirking or looking constipated. Uh, let's have a look. Oh, hello from Antigua and Barbuda. Wow. This is what I love about the squad. Like, we're just so global. We are so global, and that's amazing. Yes, jet aviation. Did you hear? I did hear about this, and I actually have the slide. I actually have the slide. Just give me a second, because I did actually want to talk about this. These are the people who say that Harry and Meghan are irrelevant, who are now looking for details about Harry and Meghan's mansion. I mean, this is stalker behavior, and also something else that you guys should know. Um, there is Christopher Boozy, who has been doing the Lord's work, exposing trolls. He is, I mean, you can go to his Twitter feed and like go all the way down, and but there's basically been an incident where somebody tried to target him on Wednesday, and I mean, it's that's not to say that that person is targeting him specifically because of the work that he's doing, trying to expose trolls or trying to expose like how this coordinated online campaign against Meghan was orchestrated. That's not to say that those people are involved, but it is just very, very strange, and there's like a whole drama going on with him. But this individual who's on the screen now is one of those people, along with some of the other hater accounts on YouTube, who they're trying to kind of get to the bottom of who's behind them. And is basically trying to hold platforms accountable for the hatred that they keep spewing. I mean, why do you need to know about the property statement or anything like this? And actually, I kind of started following this particular thread, and in the US, it seems like details about property tax and all of that are a lot more public knowledge. So they are literally trying to dig under every single stone and trying to understand every single detail about what Harry and Meghan are doing. All of this nonsense about Harry and Meghan moving houses. Um, you know, it's just unbelievable what these stalker hater accounts are doing um, to, to Harry and Meghan, two people who they say are irrelevant and that they don't care about. You want to know every single detail, okay? I am a fan of Harry and Meghan. I have no interest in knowing about this type of information. It's just, um, yeah, bargain, Betsy. Christopher's been doing a great job of exposing the internet trolls, and it seems like he is now being targeted. Um, mm, by the way, mods, if you see haters or trolls, please just block and delete, please. Um, Diane, why are these reports coming out that Meghan will testify against Andy? They're coming out because they're trying to deflect. That's what it's about. Meghan is not going to testify. She was not there when this whole thing happened. They're just trying to pull her into this, um, like they always pull people into their dramas. But Meghan is she's the number one way of deflecting against all of their circus and nonsense. Um, Sharon, I'm waiting to see if Andrew gets his security pulled. Remember, no title, no security. This is what they did to Diana and the Sussexes. Exactly. Exactly. And, when they did it to Diana, look at what it led to. It led to her death. Driving them crazy because they don't know H&M's every movement. Exactly. They have zero access. No My Palace sources. Mm. Okay, so I have a couple of other slides. There was some pretty fun. I mean, people were going in with the shade on Twitter. This one. Like, see, there are international journalists that are talking about the Rosebush activities. So, to be honest with you, in Injunction itself, I mean, I've been looking into this, is almost like an admission of guilt because there has to be a sufficient amount of evidence that would damage whatever it is that you're trying to hide. You have to have evidence to the courts that it would damage your reputation in some way or harm you in some way. So an injunction itself is an admission of guilt of whatever it is that you're trying to hide. And like this Twitter person says, like injunctions don't cover the whole world. So at this point, it's only like the people who live in the bubble of the British press who don't know. They for some reason need everything to be front page on the Sun or the Daily Mail for it to be true for them. And this other person tweeted with the Stephen Colbert meme. I just realized coming this fall 2022, Andrew's trial, Prince Harry's memoir, The Crown season 5, featuring the disintegration of Charles and Diana's marriage, and the moments that led to her tragic death. Yeah, 2022, like the royals are going to go through some things. Britain is going to go through some things. We are already going through some things. I mean, my gosh, like I'm sure some of you have probably heard about what's going on with Boris Johnson, called for him to resign, all those parties that were happening at number 10. And yeah, people are mad. People are very, very mad. Hmm. Have a look at your comments. The irrelevant Harry and Meghan are minding their own business in Montecito. Exactly. They are thriving and living their best lives. Leave their names out of it. And they're trying so hard, right, to pull them into it. See some other memes that I had. This one, you can see Prince Andrew was trending 63,000 plus tweets in Australia. That's Australia, everyone. And then our friend Richard Eden, this guy who got his boss dragged before the year ended, tweeting, unusually quiet from Montecito so far this year. Have Prince Harry and Meghan finally been given deadlines to meet by Netflix and Spotify? Blah, 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 blah. They are desperate, everyone. They are so desperate. And also, I should let you know, because I work in marketing and advertising, the royal rodents right now, they are hungry and starving. And I'll tell you why. A lot of them rely on clicks and advertising revenue. And January is the worst month of the year for advertising revenue. It literally goes down by a third. So this is why you have seen an uptick in all of these ridiculous articles about Meghan and Harry's lawn, and Meghan and Harry should downsize. I think there was an article about they should downsize like Michael Caine or something like that. Just absolutely ridiculous. So just bear that in mind when you're seeing all of this. Is because January is the worst year for advertising revenue, and these people live off of clicks. So know that they are very, very hungry right now. Diane, let's face it, 2022 is turning out to be a crap show for the UK. Exactly. Lord, cannot wait to leave this island, and I will before the end of 2022. I will. I'll stick with karma every time the on royals days are numbered. I'll drink to that. I shall drink to that too. Devil's advocate. I can't wait for the Crown season 5. Neither can I. I am gonna do. Do you guys comment in the chat if you want me to do like an episode by episode rundown? Because this season is going to be lit. I honestly think the way the Royals reacted to the last season, um, that's gonna make um Netflix just go for it. And what honestly, like, why shouldn't they? Because how dare they? I mean, they really thought that they could tell an American entertainment company what to do with their show. And let's be honest, like for those of us who actually watched The Crown, it was not that bad. In fact, it was super sorry about the sound. It was super light on the royals, even on Charles. I actually felt that The Crown helped to humanize Charles. So I have no idea why they came after Netflix like that. I'm just gonna go through your comments. It is a beautiful day in Cali. Oh, do you live in Cali, Reba? Harry and Meghan is not caring at all about these trolls. Hungry and starving is a perfect description. Yes, they are hungry and starving. um, yeah, depose Fergie. I say to depose Fergie. I don't agree with deposing Beatrice and Eugenie because, like, I don't think they actually know a lot because I would. It's not like Prince Andrew would sit down with his two daughters and be like, "Oh, and by the way, this is what I did." So I actually don't think they know anything. So I don't think that they should be dragged into this. And I have seen a couple of articles recently that they're trying to like drag Eugenie into this. I think Fergie knows more than anyone. Yeah, this is another thing, and them equating Andrew shenanigans with Harry. And I did see a couple of tweets from the usual pro royal trolls trying to do that. Um, Mrs. S. Andy is as cool as a cucumber. Remember that he don't sweat. Virginia Guff, who's the I don't know if is that how you say her name properly? Is it Guff or Guffrey? She's actually been tweeting quite a lot, so she's been quite active and very cool. And I just my heart goes out to her because another thing that I have seen in the UK that you guys may not know if you're watching from overseas is that one of the things that the British commentators who are all over the UK morning shows, what they're trying to do is they're trying to um, basically bury the backstory of how Virginia came to meet Andrew and Ghislaine Maxwell and the whole context of that, how she was actually groomed. And I believe it was, so correct me if I'm wrong, but was it not Camilla Tominey or Lady Campbell, one of the two, that basically tried to say that, oh, Virginia was just a prostitute and not a trafficked young lady who was groomed. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to put all the blame on her. So just be mindful of that because I think it's creating a situation where there are a lot of people who are actually going to let this whole thing with Andrew go over their heads. I saw on Sky News earlier today, there were some reporters going after, sorry, Prince Charles was on a walk in the forest, and there were some reporters that tried to approach Prince Charles. And as they were approaching Prince Charles was like shaking hands with other members of the public who just happened to be walking in the forest. So, this news has been out since the beginning of the week. And there are still people approaching Prince Charles, shaking his hand. Hi, how are you? So just be aware that there are some people who, as far as they're concerned, Virginia is not a victim, and this is all to do about nothing. And just be aware that those people are around, and the British press and the morning shows are trying to create an environment where people don't um, people don't take this as seriously as they should. Let me stop. I don't want to be messy on another's live. Be as messy as you want, darling. Okay? Be as messy as you want. Do you have permission to mess up the whole chat? Go for it. There are no rules here. As long as you're not a Harry and Meghan hater, you can do what you like. Have a look at your comments. I look forward to the crown, the royal family be as they rule the world. Yeah, they're still living in the time of empire in their minds. Mm. Fergie borrowed money from Epstein. Yeah, exactly. So she should be questioned. Mm. Yeah, Diane, I don't think that Beatrice and Eugenie have any knowledge, but Fergie definitely does. Thank you so much, Mrs. S, for your donation. Thank you. So sorry, I'm trying to keep up with your so many comments. Gosh, there's like 640 plus of you in the chat. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. Um, okay, I'm just gonna go back to the slides because there's a couple more. Camilla Tomini. Camilla Tomini is losing her mind. I did a video the other day, um, talking about how the seasons will change, but one thing will not change, and that is Camilla Tomini is a liar. And now she's getting into Squaddy's DMs, and she's swearing, she's lashing out at people. I mean, her employer, I think she works for the Telegraph, right? They need to get her under control. They need to get her under control because this right here, like, I mean, look at this. She's even lying about not caring. Clearly you do, Camilla. Clearly you do. Um, Fergie needs money. I wonder if she will stay with Sweaty Andy. Yeah, well, she wasn't she packing packages with him the other about a year ago at the beginning of the pandemic. I remember seeing pictures of them like doing like putting packages together for aid or something. So she pretty much is back with him in some ways. Yeah, Black Queen, they want to deflect. They want to deflect because it's not just Andrew. There's a lot of powerful people involved in this. And I think that also people have to stop this whole thing of like I've seen people trying to excuse that certain people were involved just because they maybe like them, um, or just because they are of a certain political affiliation, they feel like they need to defend them. Like, no, if you are involved in this, you need to be brought to question, and that's it. It doesn't matter. I don't care which political party you're part of, who you affiliate yourself with. If you are involved in the trafficking of minors, you need to be put on trial, and if it's guilty as charged, locked away. Too many young teenagers trafficked to say Virginia was a Epstein was a collector of people, and so was Maxwell. Her father, Robert Maxwell, was found dead on his yacht, former MI16. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know about that. I'm going to research that. Sharon, why was the sixth monster allowed to get to the Queen's Sarandom where there was little background checks? Exactly. Every single person that gets this close to the royal family, they go through extensive background checks. That's why we haven't heard anything negative about Meghan, because you know that if they had found anything, they would have put it out there. They found nothing. That's why they had to send private investigators on her, and they still found nothing because there's nothing to find. And you know that that pissed them off a lot. Yeah, all the Windsor men are morally corrupt. I'm actually going to do a video on this, like grandfather, like father, like son, and apparently like great grandfather. I mean, Lord Mountbatten Windsor, he was allegedly involved with dubious activities to do with children, allegedly also, allegedly, for the lawyers who are listening, allegedly. So it's like it runs through the family, y'all. Was Ethan's husband here? Hi, Ethan's husband. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Cookies and Cream, for the donation. Um, but I'm just trying to go through your comments. The letter and the petition from the veterans was genius. You know what? It was genius, and that's the type of thing that, like I said, people who aren't in our Sussex Squad bubble will pay attention to. The fact that military men and women came out and said something. Um, remember, yes, I do remember this. And do you know what's so interesting is that there was no coverage of that whatsoever. So there was that protest outside Buckingham Palace. And then there was also another protest, the same people who were, they went down Regent Street in Oxford Circus. I think the squad were a little bit mindful of that group because some of them were QAnon affiliated. But, you know, sometimes you and your enemies share a common enemy. So, but yeah, they were protesting against Andrew and the Queen. And you know, this is why I'm so convinced that come the Jubilee, we will see more protests. Because by the time I mean, the Jubilee is what, June, July? Like, you know that more stuff would have come out by then. Mm. Yeah, Sharon, do these journalists know that trafficking a minor is illegal, period, prostitute or not? They know it, but they're paid to twist the story. They are paid to twist the story. Um, Ms. Levy, if there's one thing we've learned is that they're completely weird. They are messed up. My God, another video that I'm gonna actually do is on the whole subject of the Queen as a mother, and there is a video of when her and Philip came back from Canada, and the Queen mother brought Charles to obviously see Mummy because he hadn't seen her for months, and the Queen literally pats him on the head and carries on walking like he's just another subject. And at the end of the day, Charles is looking at the Queen, not sorry, Charles is looking at her not as the Queen, but as his mum, a little boy that wants his mother. And this is why they are so messed up because it's all this thing about the crown over family. And it's like, well, look at where that has led. It's led to a bunch of broken people who are perverts, who are adulterers. And I'm so glad that Harry said, no, I'm not going to continue that cycle. Diane Hawkins wasn't one of the York girls at the Swiss Charlotte Skin this week. I guess they haven't sold it yet, or they're trying to get in one last visit before. Yeah, I think I did see an article. Actually, not just the York girls. I think Fergie was also there as well. Fergie was there with the girls. And I behave. Uh, wow, 600 people in the chat, y'all. Thank you so much. Like if you haven't already, please. Um, this channel knows the haps. Yes, I try and keep on top of everything. I torture myself on Twitter so that you don't have to. Mary Cat, my sister-in-law, used to believe the bad stuff about Megan. Let's hope she's seeing the light. Get her to subscribe to this channel and she'll see the light and all the truth. We haven't seen the Queen since Christmas and her speech was pre-recorded, I think. Yeah, I do think that the speech was pre-recorded some time ago. And you're right, we haven't seen her to the point where like the conspiracy theorists are now coming out and saying that she's already passed. I mean, I don't think that's true, but I do find it weird that given that so many people are now starting to, ask where is the Queen, that they wouldn't have even, just released a picture or something. It's very strange. Camilla Tominey is allergic to telling the truth. Exactly. Her face puffs up every single time. Every single time she says something that's truthful. She can only lie. Well, let's go back to my memes. Oh, I tweeted this. Hang on a sec. Yeah, I tweeted this. So I was in a Spaces group and I heard a squaddy say that the monarchy will not survive Tristan William Windsor. And then somebody responded with Chloe Middleton. Like I literally died. I died. And I love this other person's meme. Somebody said, finally it's hit home for Betty that this is not just one of those things they can keep quiet about and ignore, and then it magically goes away. What a rude awakening, and it's only just the beginning. And it's so true. This is only just the beginning. And they can't just never explain, never complain. It is not going to work this time. It's not going to work. People want an explanation. And I remember back to the Diana's death and the funeral. They literally, they saved their hairs. Sorry, they saved themselves just by a hair because they finally listened to it was Tony Blair who basically said, like, look, the people are getting rowdy. You need to do something. And I feel like a similar thing is going to happen now, where it's going to get to the point where the people are going to get so rowdy, and it's only when it's too late they're going to do something. But I feel like this time it will be too late, and by that time people would have just lost all of their patience. Let's go through your comments. There's been alleged that Prince Andrew is not Prince Philip's son, but the Queen's secret lover. When Prince Philip had been away for so long, she got pregnant when he returned. Yeah, I think it's some guy named Porchester or something like that. Porchy, I think his nickname was, and he does have a very close resemblance to Andrew. But again, that is just a rumor. Nobody knows for sure. But yes, I have heard that. Some of your comments are just so shady that I'm not going to put them on the screen. Uh, how would you even? Why? Sorry, would you show your face if your 6-year-old son caused even more embarrassment globally than your 70-plus-year-old son, who is even worse than your now dead husband, his mistress, etc.? Exactly. Well, I mean, this family's secrets have been an open secret pretty much for as long as they've existed, and they've never been embarrassed to show their faces. And why would they when there's so many people that are still willing to show up and line the streets and praise them and bow to them? So yeah, they should be embarrassed, but they know that there's people that are still going to bow to them. Marsha, I wonder if Willie and his mannequin still plans to go to the US. Well, if they do, I think that it will be a very, very controlled operation. Make sure that no one in the US press asks them any questions. And to be honest with you, I actually just think that they shouldn't go because that injunction does not apply to the US. And naturally, people are going to want to ask them questions. People, even if they talk about the Earth shot, which is what I think they want to go for, it will still be mixed in with conversations about Andrew and the dramas in the family and Harry and Meghan and how they were treated. Because I do feel now that most of the American media are pretty much on side with Team Sussex. And there's also, I think it was ABC News that actually had the Prince Andrew story quashed because the network, or this was the claim of the network executives, that they didn't want to jeopardize future interviews with Kate and William. Kate and William that get no attention. Um, so I honestly do think that there's even a lot of American news networks who will have no interest in talking to them whatsoever, especially if they can't ask questions about Andrew, about the Oprah interview, about all of that other stuff. Mm. How is the weather in Britain? It's cold and icy, at least where I am anyway. Mm. Okay, see if I can get to the bottom of your comment. You just keep them in the UK. Are you talking about Harry? Sorry, William and Kate. Uh, you know how it is with these people. They don't know how to read the room. If William goes to the States, he should be served along with Mumbles. Oh, that's so interesting. I've never even thought about that. Could they do that legally? Serve them and be like, you have to testify? Do we have any lawyers in the chat? Anyway, back to my slides. I think I had a couple more. Oh, this one. Um, yeah, I mean, like I said at the beginning of the chat, trinkets. And I swear that they just make these some of these titles up. I honestly think that unless you have been to the front line, you just should not get any medals or anything. And even then, like I said, you're a soldier in the heart. But Republic, that anti-monarchy group, were like, while we're on the subject of stripping royals and military titles, perhaps those who have never served should stop dressing up in uniforms and medals. I mean, yeah, Anne, I don't know. Did Anne ever even go to any type of military training? I'm not aware that she did, and Edward dropped out like a third way through, I think. So like all of this ridiculous cosplay. Mm, and then we have yes, that was so this is the tweet that I was talking about, the one that I tweeted. When will the British people realize you can be patriotic and love your country without holding up a dysfunctional, abusive, corrupt family? 65 million people make up this great nation. We do not need to keep bowing to grifters who make friends with pedos. And there you see Jimmy Savile, who was knighted by the Queen, by the way, and also Charles, who was friends with Savile. And Facts and Two Cents, who you need to be subscribed to, by the way, if you're not, said, Lord, Karma and the ancestors are having a field day. I'ma just sit in the side and have some tea now, pinky out and everything. And I think that pretty much describes all of our moods. Oh, when I saw this one, um, this this story just made me laugh about Megan Fox's engagement rings. You know, Megan Fox's two engagement rings are worth more than Meghan Markle's. Like why? Why? The level of reach is amazing. Dragging Megan into everything, anything and everything, just for the clicks. And I'm so glad that people can see it for what it is now. And oh, I had one more because I think this is a great way of finishing it. Kalechi. Oh, by the way, she's amazing. If you follow her on Twitter, the monarchy is a mess. Prime Minister is a mess. This small island is looking wild right now, and yeah, it is wild, and it's got me feeling like this, tired, just tired. I am tired of my island, and I'm ready to leave. That's all I had to. That's all I had to show for today. Just wanted to try and have a nice chill Friday evening with you because yesterday was pretty heavy. This whole week has been pretty heavy. And we need to try and find some laughs in between all of this, even though it's absolutely not a funny situation at all. But I believe that there is going to be light at the end of the tunnel. So I'm going to go through some of your comments and then I think we will call it a day. If Pork Morgan, I love the names that you guys come up with, thinks he could come to the US and be a treat. Yo, Megan, he's making the biggest mistake of his life because the squad is already for him. Exactly. And he already tried to come to the US and he failed. He imagine failing on CNN. Imagine being given a platform like CNN and failing. Imagine interviewing Beyonce and failing. Like it just shows that he was never great to begin with, and his whole stick relied on drama, sleaze, lies, and hatred. He has been given every opportunity, every platform that you can be given. So I don't want to hear him talking about I was deplatformed and I was cancelled. You've had like a 30-year career, and it's just been failure after failure that you've stumbled through and somehow managed to bounce back because losers follow you. Um Yeah, Edward drop out but has more medals than Harry. How? H&M can't draw a crowd unless they find someone famous to stand next to. And you know, with the Earth Shot here in the UK, they invited quite a few performers. A lot of people showed up to perform. There was Coldplay, there was Yemi, I forget her second name, really well known African performer. Um, Emma Watson came, and so many people came, and it still didn't really trend. Why do people of color in the UK accept the CBE, OBE, and MBE from the royal family? Um, I think that for them it could be a feeling of acceptance and having one of those titles next to their names. It's like I'm in the club. So, but I do find it strange that working class people who have worked for what they have, worked for their fame and their money, have to bow to the tampon prince who was fishing around for Camilla's tampon. I find that strange. There goes the Magnificent Seven, the tabloids were boasting about. Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm going to call him from now on. Pork Morgan. I usually just call him Piss Moron, but Pork Morgan, I think, it just rolls off the tongue better. Yeah? Okay, so who wants to have the last word? Ruth Lopez. Saw yesterday, Wild Willie's Willie. Was that trending? I didn't see that trending. Annie Buller. I feel like that dog. Yeah, I feel like that dog too. Oh, by the way, I finished. I managed to finish editing it, but I still do have a podcast regarding that whole situation with that private investigator. I was actually going to publish it earlier today. I just haven't had the time, but I finished it now, and I will probably publish it in like the next hour. So if you want to watch that as well, um, that's going to be up soon. 'Cause that was quite an interesting situation. Um, Anna, Anna, I'm gonna take your phone away from you. Okay. When A was born, he was dropped on the head that no one could put him together again, aka Humpty Dumpty. Oh God. Mm. Okay, Anna, I think you have been on fire so much today that I'm gonna give you the last word. I think that was a nice way to end. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Just comment and let me know, how do you all feel about either Friday or Wednesday weekly lives, or Saturday and Wednesday weekly lives? Just comment and let me know. I want to have at least two lives a week now because I actually really enjoy them, and I feel like I'm getting better at them, and I feel like we can have like some quite deep discussions about various topics. So, how do you all feel about that? Thank you, everyone who donated today, by the way, also. But I'd like to know how you feel about weekly lives, because initially I was only going to do monthly lives, but I've loved the lives so much. Uh, okay, so we've got Wednesday and Friday, Saturday afternoon live for a weekly roundup. You like Friday? Okay, do you know what I'm gonna do in the community section? I'm gonna put a what do you call it? A feedback quiz, and then you can vote on the day that you want to see me live the most, and then I'll pick from the 2 days that are most popular. But I think I'm gonna avoid Sunday because a lot of people go live on Sunday. Okay. And with that, um, I think I'm gonna call it an evening. Have a lovely day for those of you who are still in the US. Good night for those of you who are in the UK. Thank you for coming as always. Enjoy your weekend. And yes, I will have that video that I was talking about up maybe in like an hour if you want to watch it. And I'll see you in the next one, my loves. Ciao.